She landed in the country and stunned many with her comments, applauding a nation and encouraging its people to stay the course. We're talking about the Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and you're tuned in to another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. Thanks for joining us. On the show, we have a rebroadcast of the key points from the IMF Managing Director's trip to the island, plus the distribution of pharmaceuticals within the public health sector. This week on Issues, the answers to the availability of medications for the elderly and others. Stay with us, we have those stories and much more inside the pages for you.
I needed help to expand my business, but the banks only wanted to be up in my business. The high interest rates were killing my business. They're never really business with my business.
At the Exim Bank, we have your business needs covered. Our application process is easy, and we provide loans at competitive rates for the productive sector. From renewable energy projects and working capital to plant upgrades or expansion and export financing. Come in and talk to us today. The Exim Bank. On the road to success, you are going to want us in your business.
In 2013, Jamaica signed an extended fund facility with the International Monetary Fund, IMF. A year later, the first woman managing director of the IMF visited the country and expressed her satisfaction with the government's handling of the nation's economic affairs. Next, you hear for yourself the encouraging words from the IMF boss.
The government of Jamaica is honored to be hosting Madame Lagarde, Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, over the period June 27 to 28.
Madame Lagarde, we wish to welcome you and your delegation to our beautiful country.
In May 2013, Jamaica and the IMF agreed to an extended fund facility which would see the country getting $948.1 million over a 4-year period. As part of the agreement, the country would be subject to tests every 3 months. Jamaica would have to meet quantitative or monetary targets as well as structural benchmarks like legislative changes to indicate the economy was improving. So far, things are going according to plan. Confidence is being restored in the Jamaican economy, and the Managing Director of the IMF, Christine Lagarde, visited Jamaica on the request of the government to ensure the multilateral's assessment of the country was clearly articulated.
What you have done personally under the leadership of your Prime Minister is nothing short of astonishing. So well done. All reviews, those 4 reviews, have been completed without any shortfall, without any failure, meeting all the criteria. This is an exceptionally strong record by IMF standards. And as a result, the economic outlook is improving. Compared to a year ago, growth has picked up, employment has declined, inflation has been brought under control, the current account deficit has shown an ongoing improvement, and reserves are beginning to recover.
Madame Lagarde also commended the government for passing omnibus legislation to govern the tax system as well as fiscal rules which would promote transparency and accountability in government. There are other things on the must-do list,
including improving the collection of taxes so that there is no evasion and there is collection. Modernizing the public sector and improving the business climate in order to pursue the attractiveness of Jamaica, which has caused foreign direct investment to significantly improve.
The 2014 United Nations World Investment Report indicated that Jamaica recorded $567 million in foreign direct investments in 2013, the highest since the global recession in 2008. Madame Christine Lagarde took her message of Jamaica's progress under its economic reform program to business leaders at a luncheon. She commended the government for establishing the Economic Program Oversight Committee (EPOC), set up to monitor Jamaica's economic reform program, which includes sticking to the terms and conditions of the IMF agreement. EPOC is a high-level team comprising individuals from a number of groups, including the private sector and trade unions. It's co-chaired by President and CEO of Sagicor Life Richard Biles and Bank of Jamaica Governor Brian Winter.
You have made an exceptional contribution to the program by taking ownership, by applying private sector methods to the follow-up, to the accountability process, by collaborating with the public sector. You are a unique institution, not just in Jamaica, but on a global, worldwide basis. It doesn't exist anywhere.
Amidst the compliments, the IMF's managing director conceded that Jamaicans have made a lot of sacrifices to improve the economy, like accepting a wage freeze while facing higher food prices. Short-term pain for long-term benefits, more jobs, more businesses, and more exports, which would lead to economic prosperity and growth.
It is now time to actually stay the course, not to lose the benefits of the hard decisions that have been made.
In this respect, the government and the business community share equal responsibility, and I urge continuous dialogue between them to overcome whatever impediments exist to achieve this objective.
Stimulating growth and employment is at this time the highest priority of both the government of Jamaica and the fund. We are advancing with major projects, which you will hear more about as they progress.
I'm aware of both committed investments and those nearing finalization, valued at more than $3 billion across a range of sectors, including agriculture, tourism, ICT, BPO operations, energy, and port operations. These investments relate to new projects and will be undertaken primarily by foreign investors over the next 12 to 18 months.
The depreciation of the Jamaican dollar was also addressed by Madame Lagarde. She said prior to the IMF agreement, the Bank of Jamaica was using the Net International Reserves NIR money to deal with external commitments like buying oil to protect the value of the Jamaican dollar. That had to change. If not, Jamaica's NIR would have been depleted.
It was necessary to determine a devaluation of the currency so that it could be at the right level of appreciation. It was clearly overappreciated. A lot has been done. There's still a little way to go, not much.
The right valuation will improve the country's competitiveness, drive investments, and encourage the consumption of goods that are locally produced. At a University of West Indies lecture, the IMF's managing director addressed a social issue that could affect productivity and growth. She encouraged the development of a temporary gender quota system, given research suggesting that companies operate better when the leadership team is a mixture of males and females.
Quotas are necessary for a given period of time. Once you've reached a good step, then you can do away, because women can fight it on their own.
Madame Lagarde also participated in other activities while on her first official visit to Jamaica. She held talks with the finance minister and his team, the prime minister, other senior government officials, and the leader of the opposition and his team. Facilities at the Hart College of Construction Services in Portmore, St. Catherine did not escape her attention. She was impressed with the college, which was recently upgraded to provide training in technical and vocational areas. Training in beauty services by Heart Trust NTA is bearing fruit. Check out Madame Lagarde's reaction to the mannequin.
Oh my gosh. Can I say hello? Please. You do fantastic. Wow.
The IMF's managing director also participated in a reception hosted by the Prime Minister, where she again encouraged all stakeholders to continue the process of economic transformation. And
we hope to see you again, and we wish you continued success. You're an inspiration to us all.
Women leaders got a chance to speak with her at a breakfast forum. Jamaica's athletic prowess and infectious culture was of importance to Madame Lagarde. She paid homage to our creative industries and pledged to support Jamaica's thriving tourism industry.
I will return to Jamaica to enjoy the beauty of Jamaica, to experiment the tourism experience that Jamaica can offer. Jamaica has the IMF full support. We stand ready to help in any way we can, but of course it is up to the Jamaicans, with the public and private sector working in close harmony, to build a bright future.
Jamaica thanks Madame Lagarde and her team for the policy advice, technical assistance, and financial support, which have provided valuable contribution. It proved valuable in our continuing quest for economic prosperity.
The government is determined that despite the economic conditions, the vulnerable must be protected. That includes making sure that those in need of pharmaceuticals for chronic illnesses, such as hypertension, have access to inexpensive or free drugs. How are the drugs and other critical items, such as IV fluids, being distributed to public health facilities? We put the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Fund, Everton Anderson, in the hot seat. He's providing answers to those and other issues. Watch this.
Last year, we spoke of a quantum shift in the way we deliver pharmacy services in the public health sector. That shift has begun in earnest, Mr. Speaker. The NHF has completed the takeover of Bustamante Hospital for Children, Port Maria Hospital, Percy Junior Hospital.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, we are seeing significant cut in waiting time already.
Thanks for joining us for Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. We know you want to get your medication, you want to get your drugs when you need them. So we have the CEO of the National Health Fund. He'll be answering some questions about that, telling us about the efficiencies which are being generated at the National Health Fund and what the fund is doing to ensure that the country has adequate supplies of pharmaceuticals. We thank you for your company. Mr. Anderson, good to have you. There were a number of people who thought you weren't doing your job as well as you should when we saw that headline in the Gleaner about the shortage of IV fluids. Is that an area where you fell down on the job?
Well, in our view, the National Health Fund worked to manage what was a global shortage.
The global shortage.
And it started out in the US in January, and it was largely attributed to an extractive flu season and breakdowns in factories that manufacture IV fluids. Oh. Having heard of this situation, I am of the view that our staff worked very proactively to address it so that patients would not be affected. And we actually managed the system across several hospitals to ensure that all hospitals had stocks at all points in time.
So no hospital had run out of stocks completely?
No.
But there was a shortage. But you're saying the shortage is not due to any inefficiency
no.
in our system. It was a global shortage.
Global shortage to the extent that hospitals in the U.S. had to put in systems to properly manage the shortage. And we did
even
likewise.
the U.S. itself
yes.
was badly affected.
And in our case, we managed it at a micro level to the extent that when we realized that we were running very short, we actually airlifted fluids to ensure that Jamaica had adequate supply of IV fluids. Our monthly usage is about 60 to 70,000, and our supplies had been, in terms of what we get from our suppliers, had fallen to about 30,000 units per month. But with proper management, we're able to overcome the challenge and see through this very difficult period. And I think now that we're normalizing. In fact, next week we receive a shipment of 120,000 bags of IV fluids, which would significantly ease the issues faced and restore normality throughout the sector.
Yeah. Let us talk about general efficiencies being affected at the NHF. I know there's a greater emphasis now on the use of technology. Tell us how this use of technology is resulting in people being able to get their drugs when they need them.
Yes, just to say though that Cabinet has approved the takeover of public sector pharmacies by the National Health Fund, and this will result in greater efficiency across the health system. And we're using ICT, information technology, as a driver for the pharmacy service across the country. And we have started takeover at the Bustamante Hospital for Children.
And this started in April?
We started
April this year?
April 1, and already we're seeing an increase in patient numbers. We started with the hospital averaging 3,100 patients per month. We're now up to seeing over 5,000 patients per month at the Busta, with reduced waiting time thanks to the excellent staff at the Bustamante Hospital, along with the new pharmacists and other technicians that we've been able
things have improved at Bustamante since you've taken over.
And we have also taken over at Percy Jr. at Port Maria Hospital, and we'll take over at Percy Jr. in another few days.
So people should see significant improvements in all the hospitals now that you are in charge of the pharmacies.
The plan is to modernize the pharmacy service. Part of the issue is properly managing your inventory. And through the pharmacy management system that we'll be implementing, we'll be able to manage our inventory properly. We'll be able to account for our pharmaceuticals, and we'll be able to manage on a system-wide basis. So, for example, if there is a shortage of a drug in one parish, we'll be able to immediately identify where that drug is and move drugs around for the benefits of the health-seeking patients.
So by that careful use of information technology, by just knowing where the supply shortages are, where the demands are, you are able to satisfy customer
we'll be
requirements.
able, and the implementation time frame is over the next 12 to 24 months. We really want to do this very well, so we're not taking any chances on rushing, but we're moving in strategically across all hospitals, working closely with the excellent staff out there to ensure that there's an orderly and efficient transition.
Good. We're going to take a break at this point. When we come back, we want to talk about the scope of the National Health Fund and the numbers of beneficiaries. We're speaking to the CEO of the National Health Fund, Everton Anderson. We take a break, but we'll be right back.
Sunday is a family day. We like cook together, talk, share ideas, and help each other. We reason about things.
We're talking drugs today. I mean, the right kind of drugs, the drugs that you need for your health, not drugs to destroy your health. The CEO of the National Health Fund, Mr. Everton Anderson, is with us. Let's talk about the scope of the NHF. I think you're about $4 billion a year budgeted organization. How many beneficiaries? How many people are you really impacting?
Right, just to say, Ian, that the NHF has tremendous impact on healthcare in Jamaica and on the population. Formed in 2003, the NHF currently has 360,000 beneficiaries for our NHF program, which covers 15 chronic illnesses.
All right. So people who have diabetes, blood pressure, heart condition, and so on, can get a card.
Yes.
And that card reduces their expenditure
on medication.
Almost 50%.
Yes, the average subsidy rate is about 51%.
About 51%.
So it makes medications more available for the population.
So once a person has these conditions, and it's 15 of the most common conditions, they then go to a medical practitioner and have it certified that they have this condition. And then they apply for a card. And take about 4 months to get it?
No, within 7 business days, we produce beneficiary cards.
So a person watching this program now, if tomorrow the person goes and gets certified and sends that in
Yes.
to you, to your...
Once you complete an accurate form, comes in within 7 business days, we'll be able to send out your card to you.
God, good. You're going on to delineate the benefits of the program. Yeah?
Yes, just to also indicate that we manage a JADEP program, which has some 200...
That's the drugs for the elderly.
Yes,
drugs for the elderly,
which has some 250,000 beneficiaries. Also to indicate that you mentioned benefit, the actual benefit to the population is that for NHF, for last year, we actually approved 3.5 million claims at a cost of $3.4 billion.
But 3.5 million claims?
Yes, were approved last year,
at
just for NHF.
Just for NHF?
And for JADEP, over 400,000 claims were approved.
Wow.
Yes.
So you're impacting a lot of lives.
Yes.
And saving people enormous sums of money.
Right.
Yeah. But people have had complaints, Mr. Anderson, about availability. You know, they go to the pharmacies, they go to the drugstore, and they can't get the drugs. I know you would have touched on some of that earlier, but what assurance you can give to these persons?
Well, part of the takeover of pharmacy services is to improve the management of pharmaceuticals. Right now, we're managing by facility with system-wide management in terms of looking at where your inventory is located, moving around stock. We expect to improve drug availability across all hospitals in the country. And as I mentioned before, it's a phased takeover, but within 12 to 24 months, depending on other issues, we'll be able to take over all pharmacies and also deliver service, not only in the hospitals, but in health centers. So pharmacy services will be more available, and also we expect to have more drugs available.
Yes. In the area of procurement, is there any particular methodology by which you are able to get more reasonably priced pharmaceuticals into the country? I mean, are you working assiduously in that area to be able to source and to use your procurement skills to be able to get reasonably priced?
Yes, just to indicate, we have a very competitive 2-year tender process, which not only focuses on price, but on quality, because with pharmaceuticals, you would want to get not only the best price, but the best quality. And we believe we've been able to get very good prices following this tender methodology, and it is reviewed from time to time. We also look at comparative prices globally to ensure that Jamaica is actually getting the best available prices.
So our procurement systems, you would say, are operating reasonably well and to the benefit of our of our citizens. What other initiatives the NHF is contemplating to be able to improve its service to the Jamaican people?
Right.
What are the things you're looking at now?
Well, we continually monitor our individual benefits program, which is what the medication subsidy is about. Apart from taking over the pharmacy services, you would know that in 2011, the activities at HCL were taken over.
That's a health corporation.
Right. So right now, the entire chain from procurement right through the medication getting to the patient is controlled by the NHF. So by managing this, I think we'll deliver an excellent service to the Jamaican public. In addition, our institutional benefits program provides capital support to public and private sector, mainly public hospitals and health centers, in terms of improving the infrastructure. So we have provided significant funding annually to our public health system in terms of capital, equipment, and upgrading facilities.
So it's not just pharmaceuticals that you support.
No.
You support actual infrastructure, machinery for the health sector.
Yes.
Good. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Everton Anderson, CEO of the National Health Fund, which is having a significant impact on social welfare. And you have had some difficulty in accessing drugs, the pharmaceuticals. Better days are coming. NHF is now in charge of the pharmacies in the public hospitals. Already improvemements have been seen at the Bustamante, Percy Junior hospitals, and other hospitals are to be added. National Health Fund working in your interest. Next week, I'll be back with some more user-friendly information. Until then, Ian Bourne wishing you a pleasant day.
Stop smoking around me! Without cigarettes, the world will be much better. Smoking is bad for your health, and when grown-ups smoke around us, we are breathing in their smoke too.
Cigarette smoking is bad for your health and the health of those around you. Don't smoke around children. A message from the Pan American Health Organization.
We can achieve what we hope for by coordinating our thoughts and actions to make realities of our dreams and accomplish our ambitions. And even while we accept a helping hand and provide likewise, we cannot afford a culture of dependence. We have to believe in ourselves, take control, and be self-reliant. First, acknowledging what we own and using our assets and efforts to build what we desire. This year, let's try utilizing the assets of the natural environment to meet our needs, like growing foods the organic way, letting nature provide the nutrients for the plants in the form of manure, or growing the feed for our animals to produce the meat we eat. Have you considered creating paper from the trees or leather from animal skins? How about crafting jewelry from local wooden stones? These are but a few examples of the kind of creative and innovative solutions we can all afford to pursue, while not forgetting to care for our public spaces and natural resources. Let's all draw on the power of self-reliance to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
My Rasta dad is a serious man. The other day, Mama go make mistake and go cook chicken. Oh, she feel that? No, ask me. She man, we dead now. When me look, him see every pot cross the road. Papa, how dare you? Why throw away the pots? Papa the Dutch pot, Papa the frying pan, Papa the enamel pot, and Empress pressure cooker, and me dead granny big black dot pot. What a see! What a serious Rasta man like that. Papa, I'm going to trim you. Kalalu, show your bitch. Morning, noon, and night. Shaman, Papa, more piece of pork now, man. Can I tell us that I'm on lock on nutrients? Yeah! I'm on feel weak. Just one little piece of pork, Papa. And me get 100 in every test. If it's even a pigtail, me win yummy. I'm satisfied. Just a toops. Just a little bit. A pigtail in a kilo. And Papa, me not think that I go short your locks. Jah will understand, man. I'm on lock on nutrients. Watch the Papa. Your pinny them pass out. I'm on one piece of pork. Hear that, Papa? I never me say that. I'm on one piece of pork. It come in like a scratch record. I'm on one piece of pork. Say the word, man. Pork, Papa. Yeah.
Here's your dose of motivation for the week. Don't aim for success if you want it. Just do what you love and believe in, and it will come naturally. Words of wisdom from English writer and journalist David Frost. This is where we close the page of today's magazine. Thanks for watching. And don't forget, we value your feedback, so drop us a line. Send an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. You may follow us on Twitter @JIS News. On behalf of the team here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry, wishing you a wonderful day.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.